Right, I'm doing this for Jason Reed. Anyway, bizarrely, I've had 4 cigarettes, about 5 cups of coffee before doing this, which is a bit ironic considering this is about drugs. Anyway, the who, what, why, where. So, my name's Suzanne Sharkey. I am Vice Chair of Law Enforcement Action Partnership in the UK. I became part of that in 2014. And how I got there. So in the 90s, I was a police officer based in Newcastle East as a PC. And my time there, it was a relatively short time, 6 years. And within that time, I worked through my probation onto the CID team, doing operations, using informants, and also doing undercover drug buying. And actually left the police and went on to do a different career. But my story, which has led me to this point, was that for me, I became a 24/7 alcoholic and drug user. I can still get really emotional talking about it. It's hard. It's one of those things that you never think is going to happen to you. For me, it was people that were weak, that were layabouts, didn't have anything else to do. You know, all that really bad stigma, judgement that people have about problematic substance users is what I had. And then I became one. Ironically, I became a person that I used to come across as a police officer and arrest. And I feel very guilty about that now. And part of the work that I do is towards making amends for that and righting wrongs. So how I got into looking at drug reform and actually starting to become an advocate for drug reform was when I got into recovery. And, you know, I was very, very lucky. My story was, I was going to say, well, it doesn't matter. My consequences through my problematic substance use were very, very negative ones. You know, without going into too much detail, I ended up homeless. I was arrested multiple times. And I was judged. I was treated very badly in hindsight by a lot of people, but also I did get a lot of help and support from others. But it was actually people in recovery that saved me. And I got into recovery in November 2008, so I'm coming up to, it's going to be my 12th year in recovery. For me, that's through an abstinence-based program. That works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but that what works for me. And when I got into the recovery, I was lucky that I was surrounded by really strong individuals, particularly women, who loved, helped and supported me. And one of those individuals, we got together and looked at our common ground and actually set up another not-for-profit organisation called Recovery and Justice. And that's where I started looking at the real effects of drug laws, the policies that we have in place on human beings. And with that, I reflected on my work as a police officer and what I did. You know, I thought at the time I was arresting the right people, you know, particularly people that were involved in drugs and those in the demand and supply side of it. What I realise now, unfortunately, is all the work that I did made no difference, and in fact harmed people a lot more than helped them, because my side of it was that I was criminalising people. As a police officer, I was upholding the law, and that meant if you were using or selling drugs, it was illegal and you were to be arrested, locked up and the key thrown away. That's it. There was no backstory about it, no thought to individuals of actually what their life was like, what was I actually doing. And And that's one of the biggest things that I find in recovery as well, that the biggest harm that is done to individuals that I know is the criminalisation of them through having an illness, through problematic substance use, through something that they have no control over, they can't stop, and they don't know what to do, and there is no help and support they see for them.